The beautiful and comfortable house with a green lawn and a fence in the town of Jericho, New York, seemed like the perfect place for a peaceful life. It had nothing outstanding, blending in with its neighbors. No one suspected that in its basement, it harbored a terrible secret. Over 30 years, it changed 5 owners. The latest owner had the idea to carry out extensive renovations. On September 2, 1999, workers cleared the house and the basement of debris. An old rusty barrel caught their attention. Out of curiosity, the movers looked inside and shuddered in horror, finding a woman's hand and shoes on the surface. The barrel contained the body of a young woman, immersed in a viscous green liquid and covered with white and black granules. The police were called to the crime scene, and the investigation began. The current owner's interrogation yielded no results. The man insisted that he bought the house with the barrel, and it didn't bother him, so he left it untouched until he decided to renovate. The previous owner didn't raise suspicions either. He was shocked to learn that he had lived for so many years with a mummy in the basement. The gruesome find was sent for examination, although the hope of finding fingerprints was almost non-existent. After studying the contents, experts concluded that the victim was a 25 to 30-year-old Latina, likely an immigrant. Her body was filled with plastic balls previously used to make various items, such as artificial flowers. This seemingly insignificant detail would later play a role in the investigation. The woman was of short stature, with dark shoulder-length hair. She wore a cardigan and a coat made of synthetic leopard skin. In the barrel, her body lay in an embryonic position for 30 years. During this time, it had dried up, but this did not prevent determining that her death resulted from multiple blows to the head. The most horrifying revelation from the experts was that the young woman was about 7 to 8 months pregnant. This meant that the investigation had to cover the deaths of 2 people. A notebook was also found inside the barrel. Its restoration took several days. To save time, detectives began researching the history of the house. It was built in 1956, and all its previous owners were decent families with no police issues. It was challenging to suspect that any of them might have stored remains in the house. Investigators paid attention to the barrel itself. Perhaps it could shed light on certain aspects of the case. The barrel was manufactured by the Rim factory. All its products were labeled, as they stored toxic waste. The barrel from Jericho was made in 1963. The green sticker on its outer side indicated that it was purchased by a chemical company. In 1970, this company was sold. Everything pointed to the crime being committed between 1963 and 1970. There was a suspicion that an employee of the chemical company was involved. However, finding and questioning everyone who worked at the company during that time frame after so many years was impossible. The examination of the notebook data finally arrived, and specialists were able to decipher it, revealing the names of the criminal and the victim. Using the social security number on the first page, detectives determined that the woman in the barrel was Reyna Marrokin, an immigrant born on December 2, 1941, in San Martin, El Salvador. At 25, she divorced her husband and moved to the United States for a better life. Settling in New York in 1966, she found accommodation at the Jean d'Arc Women's Residence and started working at a factory producing artificial flowers. Being a reserved person, Reyna only interacted closely with one individual, Katie Andrade, another Latin American immigrant. In her free time, Reyna attended free English language lessons and improved her professional skills, aspiring to be part of the new society and feel integrated. However, in 1969, she suddenly disappeared. During interrogation, Katie Andrade revealed that Reyna had a wealthy, married lover named Howard. Reyna believed that he would leave his wife for her, so she became pregnant by him. Learning about this, Howard prohibited her from working and settled her in a small apartment, providing her with money to meet her needs. In late March 1969, Reyna, in distress, called her friend and confessed to making a terrible mistake. She had called Howard's wife and disclosed her situation. This enraged Howard, who threatened Reyna with harm. Fearing for Reyna's life, Katie ran away from work and went to her friend. The apartment door was open, and there were plates with untouched food on the table, but Reyna was nowhere to be found. Katie rushed to the police, but her statement as an immigrant was not taken seriously. Experts managed to decipher more names from Reyna's notebook. Among them was Howard Elkins. This was a breakthrough. Elkins was the first owner of the house and Reyna's employer. 30 years ago, the girls sold plastic flowers in his store. It was those granules used to cover the body. In 1972, Elkins sold the house and moved to Florida with his wife and children, living there until the start of the investigation. When the police questioned him about the gruesome find, he remained unfazed. Elkins willingly shared details about the past house and life in New York. He completely denied any involvement in the crime. However, he refused to cooperate further with the police, citing being busy and having no connection to the barrel. Elkins also declined to provide his DNA for comparison with the fetal DNA. On September 10, 1999, he was found dead in the back seat of his car. Elkins had shot himself. DNA testing confirmed the investigators' suspicions and Katie Andrade's statements. The culprit was found. Due to the negligence of the police in the past, he had escaped legal consequences and lived to be 71 years old. Judith Eben, who purchased the house in Jericho from Elkins in 1972, remained unaware for 12 years of what lurked in the basement. She spoke about the former owners, saying, "They seemed like such a wonderful family."